Hi, Georgie. So nice to
Hi,
have you here. How are
thank
you?
you. Yes, very well, thank you.
That's good. That's good. So, the purpose of this catch up is really to interview you so that we can, I guess, get to know you and for others to get to know you as well as one of the authors of the How to Be a Six-Star Business book, which is super exciting. So, thank you for being one of our authors to begin.
You're welcome.
And could you start by letting us know sort of who you are, where you are in the world, who you serve? That would be a great way to start.
Yeah, sure. So I live on the beautiful Sunshine Coast in Queensland in Australia. I serve local businesses. So I have an SEO agency and yeah, that's the people that I serve. What was the other bit? Sorry.
That's it. So your name,
Okay.
where you are, who you serve, and what is it you like to do in your spare time outside of serving all your customers?
Yeah, well, I like catching up with my family when I can. I have two cats and two guinea pigs at the moment, so I love animals. And my biggest hobby is cryptocurrency. So
That is so fascinating. Um, Thank you. So, if you were to describe yourself in one sentence, what would that be? How would you, what would you say?
my goodness,
Mm.
um, in one sentence, I'm somebody that likes to make a difference to people, but through technology.
Yeah, that really does sound like you from
Yeah,
what I know
yeah.
about you, and it's great. So, can you tell us what is your chapter about?
Yeah, so my chapter is it's kind of like a new paradigm. It's an old problem, but it's really about protecting businesses' website traffic. So there is something that is kind of accepted in the SEO web development world that when you get a website redone, that you'll probably lose some traffic and then it might come back again. And I don't know where this idea kind of came from because it's not true at all. So, you can lose the traffic and it will never come back at all. There's no guarantees that it will.
Mm,
And also it's not a problem that affects everybody, and it can affect every website to a completely different degree. So what I want to do is make it sort of known that that's the reality. And therefore, how do we determine for each website what the risk is? And therefore, it's about collaborating. So it's about having the web developer, the business owner, and an SEO specialist who can specialize in that area, as well as all the other people that might be involved with a business owner. So the AdWords, social, business consultants, other marketing people, and just making sure that everybody is aware that it could be an issue and how to actually tell if it's going to be or not. Because if it's not an issue, no problem. But for the businesses where it is an issue, it could be like an absolute disaster where they go bankrupt and they can't recover. So because it's not something that's simple, I suppose maybe that's why it hasn't been something that people have really tried to address. But I think that if we can make it more simple, then somehow we can.
that's awesome, and I love how you've brought the whole collaboration aspect to it as well, which to me is, it's a big part of this book, of course, and I love how you've brought that into this technology space, and all our business owners who are reading the book are could be impacted by this. Every business owner I know of has a website, needs to have a website,
Yes.
so it's relevant to
Yes.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, fabulous. So, what impact do you hope to make with this chapter?
Well, I suppose the biggest impact is is on the business owner's family, their staff, and the community. Because if they never have to go through this disaster in the first place, happy days. And also that there is a solution so that we can recover it for people who have gone through it, that might be 1 month, 2 months, 6 months into it, and that there is a way to recover it. But most importantly, I just want to stop it from happening in the first place.
Fabulous. So is there an aha or a key kind of step that a reader can take away from your chapter after reading it?
I think probably the key thing would be get Google Analytics on your website, at least 2 weeks of data, so that then somebody can look at it and then work out what kind of risk you're actually at.
Brilliant. So tell me, what's been the biggest gift to you on your journey to get you to where you are now? So that's your business journey. So what's been a gift or a lesson or a learning that has brought you to where you are?
Yeah, look, probably one of the biggest things is I met somebody about 10 years ago who's like a business mentor, and he spoke about like the importance of networking. And even though, you know, SEO is something that's totally online, he spoke about the importance of networking consistency in business. And I think that is just so important for everybody anyway, regardless of what business you're in, even if it is an online business. And so from that, I was actually able to develop like a network of referral partners. And that was probably the biggest learning for me, is that if you just, like, I went to a business breakfast every week for 4 years on a Wednesday morning, even though I'm not a morning person. But it's that kind of consistency of just doing something, and this concept that we like underestimate what we can do in the long term, but overestimate what we can do in the short term. Yeah. And I didn't really know what the outcome was going to be of going to this group. I just knew that somebody who was very experienced in business was telling me that this was a good thing to do. And I didn't go there thinking I would get referral partners, but that was the most amazing thing that happened. And so I think, that consistency and connecting with other people, you never know where that might lead you.
That's brilliant. So tell me, how did you feel when you were writing about this topic for the book?
Did I feel? I felt like hopeful. I think like it felt like, okay, well, this is a way that I can get a message out there, maybe to a lot of people who might not hear it otherwise, and that therefore it can make a difference. So yeah, it made me feel sort of hopeful and excited.
That's brilliant. What's inspired you to write on this topic in particular?
You, Evelyn.
Great answer. Wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, well, most people don't know, but I've actually been working with Evelyn for the last 8 weeks, and it was because I wanted to find, a purpose. And I have to say that when I went, I thought purpose was about what I could do in the world. I didn't kind of get the full concept of like purpose within your business. And wanting to make a difference with this whole website redevelopment thing has been there, but I didn't know how to communicate it, who to communicate it to, how to make a difference. And so the process that I went through with you was what inspired me to go, yes, okay, now I know what I need to do and how I can do it. So, yeah.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you. I wasn't expecting that at all. Okay, just talking about your journey to where, I guess that you've been on in your career, you obviously had a journey of sorts. I'm wondering what's been the biggest challenge to you on your journey that you've learnt from, shall we say, and grown from?
Yeah, look, my biggest challenge was definitely when I lost my job, and it was a job where I'd gone into mortgage broking just before the financial crisis, and so you get a retainer, and I was expecting to earn like loads more money, and it didn't happen. So probably for 3 years of my life, I earned less than half of what I was earning before that. Had 4 properties mortgaged to the hilt, and it was just a massive financial disaster because I'd taken loads of risks because, I like to take risks, I suppose, but I never really I knew that stuff could happen in property, but I never expected to lose my job. Mm-hmm. I never expected that my income was going to go down. And I think that, it was a huge wake-up call, and it enabled me, though, to go into business because I was already at rock bottom. I was already kind of living in the storage area of my brother's house and for free rent kind of thing. And so it was kind of like, well, you might as well just do something that you actually want to do, and I was applying for all these jobs, and every other time I'd always got every job that I had ever gone for, right?
Yeah.
And now I was getting nothing. And I kind of knew at my core level it was because I didn't actually want to do them.
Yeah.
I was so broke, but I'm like, I don't want to do these jobs. And so it was a massive process of kind of going, okay, well, what do you actually want to do? And I suppose that sort of led me into doing internet marketing course and doing SEO, and it turns out my Myers-Briggs personality type is the same as the 2 people who invented Google. So when I heard that, I was like, yes, finally. Finally, I found the place. So I think, that was a huge, horrible experience, but taught me so much. And who knows what I would be doing if that hadn't happened. Maybe I would still be doing some job that I hated. So,
yeah, that's exactly. Wow, that's huge. And to think that you go from a place of being so comfortable, and I mean, yes, you took risks, but they didn't sound like, scary risks that other people don't take as well. So, I guess you probably learnt that. It sounds like you learned that, you can have all this relative security, but that it could actually disappear pretty quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the interesting thing is that, when you look at trying to get a mortgage, how it's always seen that if you have a job, how much that's more stable, right? You can lend more, all this kind of thing. And I suppose they have their stats around business to show that. But I kind of look at that and kind of, think my business is far more stable than any job I've ever had, really. So,
yeah, I totally relate to that. Well, thank you for sharing that. I've got one last question, and that is, what does being 6-star mean to you?
Yeah, look, that's a good question.
Or why is it so important?
Yeah. I think to me it means that you're going to go like the extra mile for your clients, so that you're maybe going to do the harder stuff. And there's I suppose there's 5-star, but what is 6-star?
Yeah.
I suppose it could mean completely different things to different people, but for me, I would see it as, you're going to go the extra mile, do the harder things to actually try and make a difference and really make a difference.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Georgie. I really appreciate your time. I've loved hearing from you, getting to know you. I love your chapter and how you're bringing about this new paradigm for protecting website traffic for business owners. I think it's wonderful, and I can't wait to see how the world adopts the genius that you've brought forward in your chapter. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.